Hey, what's up, friends? Eric Crumbaker coming at you from Human Element, California, over in Claremont, California. We got another podcast for you today. I don't know what episode it is, 20-something. We'll put it in the little tag so you guys can see it. But I got two lovely guests joining us today, two special guests. I've got a guest I haven't seen in a long time. Well, I see her all the time, but she hasn't been on in a long time.
The queen.
What's new, Sadie?
Like in general? What's
Bangs?
new?
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, yeah, I got bangs for everyone curious. I got
Yes,
bangs.
things have changed.
You got bangs.
Yeah, it's...
Should I get bangs?
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's okay.
I have a small forehead, so yeah, I have
She
bangs.
just measured her
It's-
forehead.
I was like, I think I have a big head.
I have a 3 head. That's how many. If you have 4,
very
that's
small.
normal. Yeah. Anyway, big brain, small forehead. It's fine. Yeah, I got bangs, and that's really all that's changed. Like,
That's changed personally.
yeah, my
All right.
dog is still thriving.
Okay.
I'm still thriving.
Let's talk about how things have changed in the real estate market since we have sat down together and
Great.
spoke. I feel the last time Keri was in here, the sky was falling on everybody. Interest rates were about 6.5, 6.9. There was low inventory. It was hard to get listings. Like, there's just a lot of things have happened in the market since we last spoke. And as we're
last
sitting
year.
here today, we're in September. I think interest rates are above 7 now. They're like 7 and, like
7.29
a third. Yeah, 7.3, something like that. Inventory is still fairly low, but we are seeing an influx of listings hitting the market. So, Keri, being a agent in Los Angeles, how's the market? What are you feeling? What's the pulse? Give us the pulse.
You know, I was just thinking that, like last time we were here, we were talking about comparing what we were talking about then to now to see if our predictions were correct, which would be funny to do since it's been so long since I've been here, right?
Oh, we did that actually.
We're always right.
We were right in all the
Always
predictions.
Right. Last time I was podcasting was April 20th, which is actually only about 6 months ago, but a lot happens in 6 months, right?
A lot has
Can you
happened in
believe
6
it?
months.
Yeah, so remind me the question.
What's the pulse? What are you feeling
What's
in
the
the market?
pulse?
What's changed in the last 6 months? Not for you, just in the market.
Yeah, no, it is relatively the same over the last 6 months. Some people are coming to terms with what's happening with the market, right?
Yeah,
They're
I've
like,
noticed.
okay, well, I actually do want to make a move, and it's not dependent on interest rates anymore. They're just trying to make moves. You know, the end of last year was really like a shutdown in LA specifically. There were still people buying and selling, but a lot of people just took a back seat. They're like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. Sellers were over it. If they weren't getting their price, they were taking their homes off the market.
Yeah.
A lot of buyers were just kicking back, like, what do I have to lose? January hit, and people were like, okay, well, this is a New Year's resolution. This is something we want to do because we didn't do it last year. Whereas, you know, the majority of people trying to buy in 2022 did not because of affordability and lack of inventory. So you have this whole group of people that were hopeful again, coming to terms with the rates. So we saw an insane spring market. We've seen an uptick in pricing, and inventory is down like 44% now compared to COVID, which, the pandemic. And in that time period, inventory was down lower than it's been in many, many years.
So, okay, so the market hasn't changed too much since the last time you've been here. It's kind of just been a grind. So with the lack of inventory and a lot of buyers still staying on the fence and a lot of things haven't happened, what's happening to the agents? What's going on with the agents in the market? How are they, I mean, if there's
agents.
Yeah, well, let's get back to the agent form now. We're talking about the market. So what are agents doing? Because I actually have an article and I kind of want to touch on it.
Okay.
It's just the 9 lessons most agents are learning the hard way. So where have the agents been is my
Ouch.
question.
You know, we speak to, first of all, a lot of agents haven't connected with each other to talk about what they're going through.
Isn't that the truth?
We're very lucky at Element that we have each other to be honest and vulnerable with. The market has been very hard for real estate agents because with less homes on the market, less transactions are happening. So most real estate agents are at anywhere from a 25 to 60% deficit in income. And that impacts everything in their life. So a lot of real estate agents are struggling. I don't know the stats on people getting out of the market. I don't watch that as much as I watch pricing and
I think
buyer,
there's
seller,
one agent leaving the market every 4 minutes right now.
yeah, that's almost as many as people leaving Los Angeles, even though that doesn't impact the market.
Zing.
No, it's true.
Well, we also
Garcon.
we're oversaturated with the amount of agents we have compared to our population.
Oh, that's the truth.
yeah.
I feel, we've been talking about this for the last 10 years, Keri, and I feel like, again, going to reference Tom Ferry, but he's been saying this. He said the market's going to change, and it's going to change for the good, but not for the good for everybody. It's going to be a skill set market going forward. It's not going to be a free for all like it's been the last 8, 7, 6 years, and it's really going to differentiate the rest from the rich, I guess. Is that you want to say?
There's so many. Yeah, go. Oh, there's so many ways to take this. We had so many conversations since we've known each other. We didn't celebrate knowing each other 10 years last month, but we've known each other 10 years, and we have had
I didn't know that either. She knew the month.
We've had half my life.
Yeah.
It's good. Now I'm old.
Okay. Yeah, right. I was just
kidding. It's like a third of my life.
She was talking. Maybe?
Math is hard.
Walking, running. We've had so many conversations like in the kitchen, and you were always saying like something's got to give, and I kept saying nothing is going to give. Like it's always going to be good in real estate. But almost like a black swan, I never thought about running out of homes to sell. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. Prices could still be going up, but there could still be things that impact the real estate industry as far as, earning an income from buying and selling homes. So
is this like a public I told you so you just kind of gave?
No, well, I'm still right because
so
the market's still going up.
It's so funny. When we had these conversations in the past, I never really knew what was going to happen. I just know everything works on a pendulum. The world does. Everything does. And I just knew real estate was so good at one point. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just knew it was time for something to happen based on the charts.
This is different from what consumers are looking at.
Correct.
Because consumers are just seeing prices and lack of affordability, and they're in their interest rates, but they want to make a move. Real estate agents are seeing a whole different world.
They are. It's funny. Yeah. This is the world they don't want to be seeing, the truth. But I'm going to go into this. It's actually an Inman article, and I read through it already. I glossed through it, and I agreed with all 9 points. It's the 9 lessons most agents are learning the hard way, not at Human Element.
Asterisk.
Give us your favorite
not
three.
here.
Favorite 3?
The favorite 3 are actually probably the top 3. The first 3 is the lack of focus on lead generation. That's number 1.
Interesting.
And I think that's also very true only because we are a heavily lead generation brokerage. And I think for most people, even in our office, we deal with it every single day. The lack of focus on the leads that are coming in and how are you servicing them, how are you supporting them. It's not like back in 2017, it's like how are you closing them or close them. Now it's how can you service them at a high level where they trust you and they know that you are the right person to be working with and they're going to commit to you and then you're with them for a lifetime. You're not just with clients for 2 or 3 months these days. You're almost like getting married to them if that's the way you want to succeed in this new market because you have to go that way if you want to succeed. So lack of focus of lead generation. Number 2 is they are the secret agent. Which, you know what, in this new market, I can see a lot of people don't have an ecosystem like we have. They don't have, the camaraderie and the tribalness that we have. And most agencies are cloud-based or they're big box brokerages. And there's no one in brokerages right now. There's no energy. There's no culture. So most agents out there are all single agents. So, of course, they're the secret agent because they're all by themselves in their houses behind their couches. Yeah. And they don't have... And there's no platform to share and expose themselves of exactly what they're doing. So I can see this right now with where real estate's going. I can see there's a lot of they're the secret agent.
We've been saying that for a while.
A long time, I know.
Where are you?
Yeah, what the heck?
Where would you see them if they're not showing the houses? If they're not having open houses?
If they're not on social media at all?
Social media, then they are very secret.
This is the skill set market that everyone's referring to the last decade.
Give us
number 3, they don't nurture their leads.
Well, what are they doing every day?
This is I completely agree, but this is the common problem of most. This is why agents are leaving every 4 minutes because I'll tell you this:
they don't want to.
They didn't have to do this 5 years ago. This is ABCs, like back to basics that we had to do when we got into real estate. So that's why we know what makes it in this new trend, which a lot of these people have been in the last 5 years. They have no idea what to do. They're just like, give me. These leads suck. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. So I get how it's number 3.
Well, and nurturing your clients is hard only because it's an operational thing. Like I have to work with our crew to be more operational and understand how to nurture them. And you go, what happened to this person? They go, oh, yeah. I should call them. And I'm like, well, what the? I'm not going to curse, but what the heck?
Yeah. No, I love that,
what
Sadie.
The fuck?
Well, it's funny because this is what Keri's speaking about next week on September 28th from 10 to 12. This is what Keri's speaking about, the operations side of real estate, of how to get more listings. So you're completely correct. It's touching your clients and keeping up with them. It's not that easy. It's an operational thing, and this is what Keri will be touching on.
To explain nurture for anybody who doesn't like, to follow up, to keep in touch. For anybody who doesn't quite understand what nurture means.
It's like
nurture.
a friendship.
It is. It's a relationship.
Yeah.
You're keeping up with a relationship just like any of your friends.
Right.
Are you guys ready for 4? Because I think you're going to laugh at 4.
Oh, we're going. Let's do it.
Because 4 is just so basic that you guys would be like, are you serious?
Yeah.
They don't make enough phone calls.
Hey.
Well, I mean,
What are you doing?
well, the first one, like lead gen, I'm younger, and the agents around me that are younger in the industry and age-wise, they don't know what door knocking is. They don't do door knocking. They don't do anything
True.
like that. They don't go to events. They don't do things that like more experienced
To meet more
agents would
people.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't even know how to do that. And you talk about that all the time, door knocking, calling, this, that. They're like, no, 2021, 2020, great years. Now here we are.
I think I'm going to touch on something because let's be honest right now. It's not easy to make enough phone calls. It actually, in my opinion, is fairly hard. But if you if you look at the people in our brokerage, it's actually hard for them to make phone calls. But the beautiful thing about Human Element is we track and measure everything. So everyone gets to see what they're doing or not doing. And then you just get ranked upon your peers.
Okay.
So
Different
making your
subject.
phone calls,
Yeah.
well, not
Rank
making.
you.
Well, this is why this doesn't apply to us because we make enough phone calls because we
Okay.
track and measure as a brokerage. We make phone calls together. We
Yeah.
have cold calling nights. We have prospecting days. So there's a reason, but it's very interesting. They don't make enough phone calls, but I think it's the atmosphere. It's hard to make phone calls when you're by yourself.
When you're by yourself.
When you
100%.
don't have
And
people
especially when you're
pushing
getting
you and
rejected.
surrounding you and bumping you up, it's hard to make those phone calls. But when you're in an organization where that's just what we do, it makes it really easy to make phone calls because that's just what we do as an organization and we like to do it.
So
Totally.
can I ask? Picking up the phone's relatively easy, right?
Yeah.
Picking up, right? Making
Yeah.
the calls relatively
Yeah.
easy. So what stops real estate agents from calling the people they need to call?
Fear.
Fear of?
You know what? There's been books written about this. I swear. I can't really pinpoint the fear. I think everyone has a different type of fear, but I think a lot of people just have the fear of doing. Like, why don't people go to the gym?
I don't know because I go, so I'm not sure.
Well, I think there's a fear of rejection, which is going to happen. That's part of being in sales.
There is a fear of rejection.
And I think there's a lack of knowledge. Like a lot of people, a lot of agents that join.
That's it. Lack of
know
knowledge,
what to
Sadie.
say.
I think
Yeah,
you hit
agents
the
that join
nail on the
here,
head.
Yeah, they always ask, do you have scripts for this, scripts for that? And we give it to them, and we've seen people follow them, and they do really well.
They
And that's
do
that.
work,
But they don't
yeah.
always have access to that knowledge or know how to find it.
Yeah, when you really think about it, it doesn't feel good to call people like, oh, like I'm like annoying them or I need something or whatever. But it's like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Like, do they know your worst fears and nightmares? Are they going to come to your door and watch you?
I honestly
or like,
think, I think it's this
how
as well.
bad could it be?
I think it's
I
just.
don't know you personally.
I think it's a fear of being held accountable as well. You know, I think being held
There you go.
accountable.
That's deep.
It's true though.
To living your best life.
Yeah, and it's hard. You know, that's why people have
hard.
coaches. That's why we have real estate coaches and we have, sporting coaches and there's life coaches
Yep.
and there's personal
Lots of
coaches because I
mentors.
think
Yeah.
you need to be, be held accountable for the
Correct.
intentions that you make. And by yourself, I think we're flawed individuals as human species. So I think that has a lot to do with it. But you're really funny because the next one is they lack accountability.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge one. I don't think a lot of people put enough emphasis on lack of accountability because I don't think anybody wants to be held accountable, so they just easily swipe it under the rug. I think that's one of the main points which drives our brokerage forward is the high accountability that we've put into place. It's so true, the lack of consistency. I think that's why we joke around with it because we're so consistent on the things that we have to do to get the things done, do the work, have the power. But I feel like it's something that's ingrained in us. It's like when you drink wine for the first time, it sucks. Or drink beer, it tastes terrible. It's one of those
Trash.
acquired tastes. And I feel like that's what
I think it
consistency is.
still tastes
Once
bad.
you really taste how good consistency feels,
Takes
it's
a lot
like
to get there,
you
yeah.
never want to go back because it tastes so good. What can come when you are consistent at one thing over a long period of time? There's nothing bad unless you're doing drugs that can be
Consistent drugs that can be
exactly.
bad. Consistent
So the lack of
You know,
consistency.
I mean, lack consistency. It's funny because I'm a very annoyingly consistent person, as both of you know personally. But what happens is consistency is boring, right? And
Yes,
we
it's
crave
mundane.
novelty and we like new and exciting things. And eating healthy and going to the gym and doing what you need to do is boring. Like
Yeah.
we are on Instagram and watching shows and everything's so fancy and fun and high life. So like we're like confused as a human nature of how to make things exciting. But Yeah.
Well, yeah, you want to do all the fun stuff in real estate. Like, you want to make the money, you want to go to the events, you want to be featured, but you have to do the consistent stuff to get to the fun stuff. And sometimes the fun stuff gets mixed in there too. But that's just how it is.
80-90%.
That's everything.
Yeah, what you do on a daily basis in real estate is not fun and it's not sexy.
I agree. And I'm actually going to piggyback on what Sadie said. It's kind of like they don't treat it like a business. Because that's what number 9 is. They don't treat it like a business.
That should be number 1. That should be number 1.
Why should that be number 1?
Because that's the whole fundamental problem with a lot of real estate agents. They don't treat the business like a business. They don't show up and go, okay, how am I going to structure, my day? How am I going to structure my business? How am I going to follow up? What am I going to know about the market? How am I going to market myself? How am I going to do my taxes?
No. People come into the business and they have just a misperception that it's easy, it's flexible, there's easy paychecks.
Sunset.
I'm going to be walking around. They're going to love the first home they buy. Everybody wants to list with me. Yep. This is a cakewalk. You know, it's funny. I still always go back to when we sat with Cam. Because, Cam went through it. He had to learn the hard way. And he came in thinking real estate was easy. He said it on the podcast.
Everyone
and he said,
thinks that.
Exactly. He said until he gets punched in the face. And he's like, you get bloodied. And you have to succumb to your circumstances and start appreciating it. And when I heard him say that, I was like, you know what? Cam's made it. You've made it. If you can get through that pinnacle of your business career in real estate, then in my opinion, you have gone through the hardest part.
It is. I mean, I was at Elefante with a good agent, a very, very successful agent in my area a few years ago. And he looks at me and he's like, real estate will eat your soul. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's true.
Wow.
PSA, be a real estate agent. It's really good. Everyone loves it.
I do think there's a certain thing about real estate that you give up to the world to be a part of real estate,
you get bloodied, you get beat up. They say that buying and selling is like having a family member held hostage. That's how it feels in the life cycle of a mindset of buyer and seller. So you're constantly like up here during the whole thing. And all of that is pretty much getting dumped on your real estate agent. Like if you're somewhat sane, you shelter them, but it's not really a sane process. And you're not that rational. So you may say something you don't mean to your agent. You may just like lose it. So
I completely agree.
And agents have to really learn to just...
Yep. Thick skin. Stakes are high.
Yeah. Skin. Stakes are high.
Well, now that we just spoke about all the things that we don't do at this office or this brokerage.
We are perfect all the time.
This next segment, and we'll end with this segment, it's the 7 secrets to unlock your potential in your luxury agents. So it's very interesting because I also scanned through this. It's seven secrets.
How do I keep up?
Well, they're all secrets that apparently we only know in this office. So
all of Inman.
Well, whether you know it or not, it's different when you apply it. So I think a lot of people know a lot of things, but they don't know how to apply anything.
That's true.
So very first, this is very true. It's the power of passion and vision. It says in a fiercely competitive arena of real estate, passion is an agent's secret weapon.
I like that.
And I feel like that's been my motto since I got into real estate. I've just been passionate about this industry, about what I do and what we're trying to accomplish. That's my superpower. That's my fuel to my fire. That's what keeps me going. It wakes me up in the morning. It allows me to have a purpose. Very first is your power of passion and vision.
It's interesting about that. I read one of the books I was reading recently, might have been the Ed Mylett book. It's like the people you're leading, whatever it is, they don't necessarily need to believe what you believe. They need to believe that you believe it. And I was like, oh, great, done deal.
Come on, have you watched Ted Lasso? That's basically all it is.
Like you want everyone to be so inspired that you work with, and you're like, oh, I feel it. Do you feel it? And they're like, no.
It's like
but
that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I heard that's okay. So that's secret number 1. Isn't that great?
That is a great number 1.
Wonderful. I did my job. So just keep being passionate. Eric.
I think passion is what, especially we're talking about giving your souls up to real estate kind of thing. If you don't have the passion, you're not going to make it in this industry. That's why so many people burn out. That's why it's a 95% failure rate, because I don't think people come in here with the passion that they need to endure what real estate really is. And it's 95% suck and 5% gratitude.
Suck.
So it's very interesting. Number 2, reframing limiting beliefs. That's another thing that we constantly do in this office, because I think everyone has limiting beliefs. Whether you're the top agent or you're just becoming into the industry, everyone is encased with them.
Everyone needs therapy.
Yeah,
it's so true.
Well,
everybody needs therapy. If you haven't reached out to a therapist, man, it is okay. You should definitely reach out.
I'm sure there's like an AI therapist. So
There's BetterHelp. I don't use that, but anyway.
There's
BetterHelp.
But
okay.
honestly, mindset is everything.
Everything.
Yes,
Everything.
everyone has a set of narratives and beliefs that they think is true about themselves, and I think reframing those, especially in real estate, like for example, why don't people make their calls? Why don't people do this? I think it's their limiting beliefs that block them from getting through the adversity. And again, this is the ecosystem you're with. It's the people that you surround yourself with, the people you confide in, be able to be vulnerable, like Keri says, do the scripting, have the coaching. It's like all this encased together. I think that reframes your limiting beliefs. Because if you don't have that, how are you supposed to reframe your beliefs?
Well, and if you can't see the result of the hard work, if you haven't seen that result, then your belief is, I'm doing this for nothing. But eventually you see the result, and it keeps pushing you forward and forward and forward.
That's so true, Sadie.
So that
Actually,
helps.
you know, it's funny. I'm going to keep piggyback on you on that pushing forward and forward and forward, because this next one, you just keep segueing
Number
in.
4.
Have you read
These
this
are
already?
Secrets to Sadie.
You know, this is the big one. And we've talked with our own agents about this and other people in the marketplace. Action over inaction. Everyone's analysis by paralysis in this last 2 years, in my opinion. I think it's the most insane part of real estate that I've been able to witness.
I don't know why I'm so nuts. I'm just
Well, that's
doer.
your strength is also your weakness,
I know,
but your strength
annoying.
is you don't know how to stop. There's no off button for Keri.
Yeah.
10 p.m., 1
Yeah.
a.m., 2 a.m.
You're a bullet train.
5 a.m.
But it's a good thing.
She is a bullet train that does not stop.
Well, it takes a while to stop. They don't just slow down. You have to slowly slow down. And that's how it is. What? It's
Where
a
are
great
her
thing. That's why
brakes?
you're successful.
I need to find her brakes.
That's just slams, just slew. That is
And everyone
true.
flies out the front of the bullet train.
Bad.
Bye.
Did you not get my memo on the seatbelt?
What causes so much hesitation in this new market? Why are people hesitant to do things? They're thinking about all kinds of things they can do and should do and want to do, but no one actually does what they say or what they think is good.
Fear of failure.
Fear of failure.
Fear of failure. I think people do it in everything too. Like if they want to make a move in their job, if they want to, I mean, I don't want to like call out Ricardo, but he wanted to make a move and he went and did it. He's like, I'm not going to do my day job. I'm going to go be a real estate agent. And he comes in every day. He's making his calls. He's been here for 2 weeks. He's making his calls and setting an example. And I think it's really awesome, but it's hard. Like you have to really get kicked in the ass to make a change.
Well,
That's
they
also very
say
true.
Everything. Oh, Drake's up. Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
But in this market, I mean,
Yeah, you know, it's pain or pleasure. What motivates you? A lot of people are motivated by pain, and sometimes it takes a while for the pain to get there, like the lack of income or the weight gain or whatever, drug abuse. You know, being motivated by the good life isn't that motivating for a lot of people.
Very true.
Yep.
I completely agree.
Don't know why.
You know, actually, when you guys are talking right now, I kind of grazed through this next one. And actually, it was really
great.
funny because I just looked
Listening
over to my
more.
right and I see this board to my right. But it says it's the power of the present. It says there's an undeniable potency in seizing the moment. When agents are trained to act in the now, unburdened by past failures and future anxieties, they find themselves more engaged and more effective. This proactive approach not only boosts their productivity, but also enhances their overall success. As in the old days, we had whiteboards with all the listings and sales for the month, which I'm pointing at.
sounds familiar.
It says the good and the bad about the sales. Every month, we erased the board and started fresh.
Woo.
This business is a great equalizer. It rewards those who use all their potential and opportunity each day. That's actually pretty smart because we have a
That's
whiteboard, but we don't
interesting.
erase it once a month because it's hard to erase it.
It's hard-
The shit's
yeah.
ever going.
You just
And I
it
actually
moving,
love
yeah.
having the
Protect
whiteboard.
the concept of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to protect. And I think that helps the present because everyone walks in our office
Exactly.
and everyone looks at that whiteboard. That whiteboard's pretty high valued right
You
now.
want to look for your name. Like, where's my name?
Yeah. Where's my name? Where's the, yeah, there's a lot of names up there. Next, before we get out of here, preparation is key. That's one thing that we really do pride ourselves on and we coach every single day is preparation, whether it be preparing for an open house, getting there 30 minutes early, knocking the neighborhood before, bringing waters, cookies, comps, all the other listings that your brokerage has.
Cookies,
And that's just an open house, let alone meeting a buyer for the first time and bringing your comparables and all the information that they're going to need because most likely they're not going to buy that home or going to a listing presentation and preparing a week prior and sending stuff to them before and all the different things that we needed to do, prepare is why that whiteboard is full with over 20 cells right now. So
I'm feeling so much passion hearing this stuff. I'm like, this is so basic, but you get why there's the top, 10%, the 80-20 rule in real estate.
It's
why
insane.
20% of agents are doing 80% of the business because these basics are not being done, and that's what creates the professional knowledge broker versus the part-time broker, and the part-time brokers are leaving the industry right now.
Yes, they are.
It's a simple thing.
It's
Do
simple.
the things. Okay, if you want, it's anything. If you want to lose weight, work out, eat chicken and rice, work out, eat chicken and rice. I don't want to eat chicken and rice. I'm not going to lose weight. That's that. But same thing with real estate.
Yeah.
Do these things, you will be successful. Yeah. You don't do it. I mean,
it's insane.
We watch it happen in front of our eyes every day.
Completely agree.
Yeah. I mean, the times you show up for an appointment and the agent doesn't know enough about the property, they haven't looked at comps, like they know nothing.
Yep.
They're just completely unprepared.
Completely
if
unprepared.
The client said to them, what year was it built? They'd go, I don't know. What's the price again? Anything. They just don't know. And it's like, that's what somebody's hiring you to do, to know. So show up and be prepared. That's the least you can do.
Correct. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
The last two as we get out of here, it's we're gonna put them both together, but you both will love this next one because it's the stuff that we're playing with right now. The stuff that we're like all like dipping our fingers and toes. Not spreadsheets.
The
opposite side of these spreadsheets, the embracing innovation, which would be the AI and all the different platforms that AI touches and produces. It's insane all the things that can be automated and that can help assist us going forward. But I do believe it's the embracing innovation. There are a lot of people that think what they have is good enough, but it's not.
Never good enough.
It's never good enough. You have to be always figuring out what's next. And I think that's big right now. And the last is the art of resilience. I think, it's kind of like the consistency, the resilience aspect that you just have to have strong mindset and you have to follow things through, especially that, it's funny, it's the art of resilience. It's not just resilience, it's the art.
Or maybe it's like for the article to make it sound better.
Well, I think it's true. I think resilience is an art. I think it's not an easy thing, and there's no formula to do it. Everyone has different ways to stay resilient, whether it be a passion, whether it be motivation, whether it be a coach. So I think resilience is key, and I feel that's another beautiful thing about what we do because we are definitely a resilient company. Yeah. But it's nice to talk about things that agents are struggling with right now, and then things that are, helping agents, especially in this new market, because market is very interesting out there, but it's a great market to be a buyer or seller. I think if you can afford it and it's a good time to buy for you, it's a great time to be in right now, as compared to 3 or 4 years ago. Everybody, thanks for tuning in to our podcast, Real Estate and Shit. I want to thank Sadie Gribbon and Keri White for being such beautiful and amazing guests. We had some great topics today. Please leave some comments below. Make sure you follow us if you have not. And yes, we were going to see you guys all next week. Cheers.
Bye.